Welcome to the Spinfoil Theory Podcast. Each week we sit down and discuss our favorite lore topics from within the Destiny universe. Specifically, we intend to take a close look at a specific question that has been nagging us and potentially the Destiny community as a whole. To fulfill that, our discussions tend to assume that you already have some background in the Destiny lore. Despite that, our goal is to be as lighthearted and welcoming to everyone as possible. With that out of the way, let's dive into this week's topic. Excellent! I'm also recording.
Your mom's recording?
Oh, okay. She might be. I don't know. She's not
here. She is a DVR, and she's sophisticated. Maybe multiple shows that she likes appear at the same time. Maybe she's a lady about
do that now?
Yeah. Welcome
back
to 2003.
Back in my day, they had to record the channel they were watching.
I will say, even with the advent of DVR, there would be people who would want to wait till the show was over, or at least enough into the show so they could skip ads. Mm-hmm. And that was sort of the beginning of what I think we have now, which is sort of like the streaming sort of thing, which is like most of the services you can avoid ads in one way or another. So a lot of the shows are built around if you actually don't have a break, so it makes sense for transitions. I was reading about this, and it's pretty cool. But I actually miss that time for banter. Banter and running to the bathroom and what have you, because when you had to watch it live and you had the commercial break, you could turn to your friend and be like, "Holy shit!" about what you just saw. You talk about it. You can make calls and I don't know. I don't like watching commercials either, but I like having that time. I realized I missed that. Yeah, I'll piss off Kari. I'll pause things sometimes and be like, I need to talk about this though.
Those shocking revelations! God damn it!
Did you see the bullet is in his eye? He has no eye or brain. He's completely dead. Holy schnagies. Alright. So that can be our intro. This is where we start. Alright, welcome to the Spinfoil Theory Podcast, everyone. This is your host, Taylor-B, and TheBagelz.
Howdy.
Yes, how do? This week we have a fun one. It's going to be maybe a little bit on the more fun side. A little bit on the timely side too, considering that The Dawning just came out. Did you see the Mirthmobile? The mini sled? Okay. As soon as I saw that though, I immediately thought of Wayne's World. And now I'm just trying to find the right shader to give it that combination of where maybe it appears to have the flames over the blue.
Oh my god.
Yeah. Yeah, that's what Taylor's about. But yeah, we have a fun theory this week. Using that as a segue, the Mirthmobile is found in Eververse. And this week's theory, actually this is gonna be I'm gonna Taylor-B is out of the driver's seat this week. Bagels, will you please chauffeur us on our way to, crackpot theories in a fictitious universe?
Put another shrimp on the barbie!
That's right.
All right.
I will.
All right. Yes. So today's question of the day is: Did Tess Everis kill Fenchurch? And yeah. So basically, the basis of this theory is we haven't seen hide nor hair of Fenchurch, at least in any direct notation, since D1. Since the establishment of Eververse, essentially. So if we go back to D1 and we look into the Silver and the Eververse Grimoire cards, basically we have Tess and Fenchurch meeting up and starting Eververse on the basis of their silver coins. So the silver coins are originally Awoken currency, and those currencies are essentially tied to their owner. Basically, as I understand that, only the owner could use the coin as a form of currency after it was tied to the owner. but both Fenchurch's and Tess's silver coins had the same signature. So this led them to believe that they were related in some aspect, or whatever. So essentially, Tess Everis, as she was already an Awoken, as established, and Fenchurch, who was a Guardian, specifically a Warlock, came to the conclusion that he should adopt the Everis last name. So it's actually Fenchurch Everis as well. And in the lore, essentially, Fenchurch kind of takes in Tess as kind of like a niece type of thing, is how it's kind of looked at. So from there, we've got basically their adventures in starting up Eververse. Fenchurch is kind of a design aficionado and kind of puts together some dance moves and that sort of stuff as collects them and puts them up for sale.
I want to add though, he is like, he is what's the word when he's stylish? Like he puts together a multiplicity of things like that just display creativity.
Mm-hmm, mm-hmm.
And I find it funny that I feel like the purchasing of emotes and engrams almost reminds me of like that scene in The Matrix when Keanu's like, I know kung fu.
Right?
Yeah. It's like I visited Eververse one day or opened the right engram and it's like, I can do the hustle.
You're plugging a cartridge into your ghost, and your ghost is immediately implanting that memory into you.
Yeah, exactly, right? Well, but some of them are even funnier. Like, I couldn't do a thumbs up until I spent like.
Right.
That's what I choose to believe, though. We're not very complex beings. We can only do 4 at a time.
It's true.
Sorry.
No, that's cool. And so. In this way, we've come to learn that essentially Fenchurch and Tess seem like they're related, or at least act like they're related from there on, and they seem to have a partnership in the form of Eververse for at least the extent of D1. Come D2, we kind of lose track of Fenchurch, and we only really have references to him via idle dialogue from Tess as she's sitting in her Eververse booths, both on the farm and eventually in the tower after the conclusion of the vanilla campaign. And some of that idle dialogue is specifically referencing, I haven't heard from Fenchurch in a while, and just things like that. And just the continuation of those idle dialogues for 3-4 years, it kind of sparks some questions in the mind of what actually happened to Fenchurch.
Mm-hmm.
So it begs the question: what exactly is going on there? Does Tess know more than she's letting on?
What's in the box?
Take care of Fenchurch, take out the trash, so to speak, or something.
What's in the box?
But yeah, so. Taylor, do you have any thoughts on that aspect?
I mean, so there's a lot going on with Fenchurch. He's a warlock.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
He's affiliated with the Vanguard. But I feel, alright, so like they say he's affiliated with the Vanguard. I feel like just given that he has Eververse on the side, he's got to be some kind of like mercenary contractor. There's no way he's not charging him some of that sweet, sweet silver. He's walking up to the Vanguard. He's like, hey, man, like, of course you can pay me like you pay everyone else, but I don't accept the glimmer. I'm going to need you to buy these tokens. That you can, no, because then you can have the tokens, and you can use the tokens for me. I only accept the tokens. If you could, well, I can sell you as many tokens as you need.
Right? like running your own little scam.
It really is. It really is. You're just sitting on all these tokens. Oh, you're going to need at least 5,000 tokens. Oh, sorry. Tokens are only sold in increments of 10,000? Like it's a silly imagination that I just imagine, just given how capitalist they seem to be, because like the last city was burned, we had to barely escape without powers, and Hawthorne had to find a ship for us. So that we could, like, limp without a warp drive all the way back to the farm. And she already had a fucking shop set up.
Right?
Like, when we got there. Whoa. Like, she had Eververse box. The tent is still there. She didn't even take the stuff with her. She, like, let that stuff go. I feel like that's when, like when the U.S. has a bunch of arms and other stuff in a zone, they'll just like, historically, a lot of times we've just like abandoned it. we don't take it. It's like, oh, I guess all right, we'll just get some new ones. Like, hey.
So what you're saying is, while Fenchurch was powerless due to the Traveler being inert, Tess would have had a golden opportunity to take out Fenchurch.
Not only Fenchurch, but his ghosty boy Neville, which I think is a great ghost name. Very eccentric. I like it. And I kind of dig the sort of like adoptive uncle.
Motif.
Yeah, I think that's sweet. And I think the idea of them getting in adventures. I will say, Bungie, if you ever hear this, it would be super duper cool. I think, like hear me out. If you ever do anything with comics with them to tell those stories, it just has to be free no matter what, given that every other context of them costs money. I would say that is the most hilarious juxtaposition ever. And I'm just saying, like, web comics or something. If you print them, like, yeah, that's a different story. But you know what I mean? Like, put it out there.
So, just kind of thinking about the context there. If there was some sort of spiff or spat between the two, and as the aforementioned golden opportunity presented itself, so what could cause that spat specifically? And Eververse seems like a golden goose, so to speak. If you were to try and collect just money, just getting rid of your partner essentially raises your profits to double, essentially.
I think it's much more personal than that.
Oh, okay, sure.
Think about it. Have you ever seen him work the shop? Not even once.
It's true.
Not even once. She's in there. She is the shop.
It's true.
I think she was tired of getting taken advantage of.
Although there is references to him going out and collecting gear or designing gear, and collecting like dance moves and that sort of stuff in order to feed into the shop. I will grant him that. So it's not like he's not doing anything in the background.
Well, I mean, here's where the ego comes in, right? Though. Mm-hmm. You're Tess. You're working hard day in, day out. What's Uncle Fenchurch doing at all times? Oh, he's off gallivanting around. Oh, did you learn a new dance, Uncle Fenchurch? Oh, how exciting! I was next to the fucking mail robot again.
Hey, leave Katie out of this.
Hey, I'm just saying, Katie's great, but she is not the best conversationalist. Her idle dialogue is very, what I'm going to call, repetitive. In that she'll say the same word a lot of times in a row.
Though you could say the same for Tess. She does say the same dialogue a lot.
Yeah, but at least it's more complex.
It's true.
Like, changes as time goes on. She's got that going for her. I'll give her so much credit there. Yeah, it's so funny. Like, whenever I feel like they do more with Tess, it's just written down like, oh yes, here is a month, like, here's a free thing to introduce you to Eververse, like that type of thing. But they actually there is an actor who plays this person.
Yeah, Claudia Black.
Yeah,
Morgan from Dragon Age fame, Farscape. Actress. So, yeah, she's awesome, in my opinion. But, yeah.
That's why I really want this dark thing to be in Bungie's back pocket.
I mean, it kind of makes sense from the perspective of Lisa Morgan. She definitely would have done a few shady things in her past. But,
Well,
kind of beyond the scope here.
a little bit. Well, what do you think? What do you think of that angle, though? Like, jealousy, like, mad she's always stuck behind the counter, never gets to go out into adventures, never gets the recognition
I guess
that
it makes
she deserves.
a little bit of sense. I'm hesitant to suggest that she's jealous of Fenchurch, because Fenchurch is a guardian. So his going out and finding gear or whatever, basically he's a lot safer in doing so than Tess, who would obviously be significantly more vulnerable to any sort of enemy of humanity attacking her at any given moment. So I find it hard to believe that Tess would be straight up jealous of Fenchurch being able to leave the Lost City and finding gear to feed into Eververse. But I
think it's the freedom. It's not what he's doing. It's that he's able to do something else. And she never gets to
stuck there. Yeah.
Yeah, she never gets to leave the counter.
Sure. I'll grant you that. I could see her being jealous of that aspect of it.
Yeah. It's not that I think she's going to go do the same stuff. It's that it's anything but the same damn thing every day.
Sure. She could study dance moves of people around this Lost City, too.
Maybe she doesn't even want to do this business anymore. Maybe she's trapped.
She's literally trapped because her uncle is forcing her to do this job. Is that what you're saying?
There's actually a leg trap behind the counter that we can't see.
she's literally tied to the booth.
Yeah. It's why she's there at all hours. Even Zavala went to his office once.
Yeah, right?
Right?
Twice. I think he went there twice.
Damn. That is more office use than any other character. Okay. So,
yeah, go ahead.
Another thing. It's a small window of when it would have been easiest to kill Fenchurch.
Mm-hmm.
But, does that mean it's the only time? Because honestly, like, much time as she spends around Guardians and... Like, she has access to the tower. A lot of regular people don't have that. When it comes to the Last City and their population. So she might just know that she's got to put down either the ghost first or the ghost, like, make sure the ghost is dead before it can res the Guardian again.
Mm-hmm.
With that in mind, being able to get close to Fenchurch, like, I think she's got the opportunity.
Yeah.
And if you know, if feeling tied down, feeling used is a good enough motive, then ooh. I'm just saying. So,
it's at this point where I have to bring a little bit of a damper to this parade, because I have a couple of contrary thoughts to Fenchurch being dead. Despite the fact that we haven't heard from him directly, there is a lore book, the Stolen Intelligence lore book, brought to us in the Season of the Drifter, specifically referring to it's kind of referring to Eris's involvement in the what's the lore book that Savathun basically shoot, I'm drawing a blank. It's from the Forsaken.
The Savathun does what?
She tries to convince us that Eris is from Russia, and we really don't know her background, that sort of thing. Truth to power, that's what it is.
Okay.
Yeah. So, basically, a lot of what the Stolen Intelligence lore book actually focuses on is trying to decipher whether Truth to Power has any actual factuality behind it. And Fenchurch, what I would make an argument for, is involved in this lore book. Specifically, there are 2 entries penned by Agent FEN-092. So we really don't have a lot of subjects in the Destiny lore as a whole with FEN in their name. As of now, the only other one that I could find was a fallen, I believe, it was a paladin of the Awoken, and he is apparently still alive. Paladin Fen, I believe was his name. That was the only other reference that I could find of anybody named Fen. And he's not a guardian, so it kind of eliminates him from being one of the hidden that are involved in the Stolen Intelligence lorebook.
The hidden aren't only guardians, I don't believe. It's a network of spies.
I was under the impression they were all guardians, but I could be wrong about that.
Well, I mean, all right. So I guess, like in my view, I think that she does use a lot of guardians for stuff, but I would also argue that it makes sense to have spies from other places, right?
True.
Like that's what I'm thinking there.
Sure, and that's a fair point. Yeah, I guess. Yeah, that's another layer of. It could be a different person other than Fenchurch, but basically the whole argument lies within we basically don't have a whole lot of people that go by FEN in any sense. So the other characters in this lore book that are referred to are we've got Ikora, IKO. That's almost certainly Ikora. We've got
it's the Ikelos shotgun. I mean, isn't that obvious?
Yeah, right.
Agent Ikelos shotgun. Please help.
We've got Anora involved. AUN-326. There's a couple other ones in here that I'm drawing a blank on, but I believe are also established characters in the lore. So basically, the 3 characters at the beginning of the agent's name appear to be directly tied to the first 3 characters of the actual hidden member's name. That seems to be how their code works for this.
That's not a very good code.
I know. I'm not going to disagree with you, but
that's actually a pretty bad code. I didn't even have to think about it.
But it seems to be how it works. I'll say that much.
That's awful, though. Why? No. You should... Bungie, I mean, I get that you didn't want us to, like, you didn't want us to break out the abacus to solve this one. But, I mean, come on.
Yeah,
come on.
I think it's to make it seem like it's written like a report. That's kind of the concept. Without, like, making it entirely too difficult to figure out who the major players are in these stories. But,
so it's the Hidden's QuickBooks? Just...
more or less.
Alright. Good.
But Fenchurch, if it's him, pops up a couple times here. Specifically in reference to researching Eris's past. And ARI-223 is specifically who's referred to in the lore book. Almost certainly Eris, because I believe that the majority of this lore book is about, again, deciphering Eris's past in reference to the Stolen Intelligence, or the Truth to Power lore book. And past that, that's the one entry that is forgeries. The other entry is fragment, where the FEN-092 agent basically wakes up to a thrall, which he promptly kills, finds a black fragment that on the moon, and we later realize is tied to the darkness pyramid that is on the moon. There's the black fragment essentially gives him hallucination, and the ghost is unable to create a light link with it, basically saying that it's probably of the darkness, is kind of the hint that they're trying to give you right there. So, all in all, basically what I'm trying to argue here is that this agent, we don't know that they're a warlock for sure. I don't think that's established anywhere in here. But just based on how their code tends to work, and basically what we know about Fenchurch to this point, it seems like it very well could be him. I can't... there's not a whole lot of additional evidence in here to really point to that, but it seems to at least give a strong indication that that's the case. So, if that's the case, then he's not dead. I really can't find any other reference to Fenchurch in the modern lore, just other than Tess calling out for him in the middle of the tower. So,
yeah, and to that point, yeah, I mean, if that is Fenchurch and not someone else, which I guess I'm not saying it, there's anyone else I think it could be, but like just in case, they choose not to use that character, because how sometimes they keep those characters separate.
Sure.
Yeah. So just in case they decide later that that's someone else, I think right now that's a pretty reasonable call that would be Fen. But he's also interacted with the pyramid. Ooh.
It's true. Yeah.
Which is a scary thing that as far as I know, we were the only ones meant to have done at all, or maybe I don't know, maybe it messed with him, but I believe we're the only thing to get that close to such a big arbiter of darkness. You know what I mean?
I will say he
going completely crazy.
He didn't directly interact with the pyramid. He just interacted with the shard that the thrall was carrying around in its body. Apparently, the thrall was somehow affected by the shard, because the thrall didn't actively attack him. It just kind of sat there outside his tent when he woke up. And he came out and shot it in the head and was analyzing the shard until he eventually picked it up and had a hallucination from it. Yeah.
I like to think he saw vanilla.
He saw Eris, specifically. Eris and number VIP 0704, who is currently suspected to be Mara, at least from the communities that I've looked into on this.
Only the person you haven't seen so far?
Well,
in a long while.
So, yeah, basically they were both... it might be in reference to the Sleepless rocket launcher, specifically, where Mara basically destroys a pyramid chip. That's basically what the modern interpretation of that lore bit is, but kind of outside the realm of this discussion here, and I didn't do a whole lot of research into that specific concept.
Well, too bad, Bagels. That's specifically what I want the rest of this episode to focus on. It's too bad that you weren't prepared. Prepare to go down.
How did you know I was going to go in that direction?
You had so many rights that as soon as I sensed the weakness, and by that I mean you openly just saying you weren't prepared.
Okay.
That's when I chose to pounce, because I'm a very crafty opponent and rival. And I think we all know that I've got to exploit your weaknesses if I'm going to keep up. Otherwise, what kind of anime rival am I?
I guess you would be one.
I wouldn't be.
Yeah, it's a fair point. I can't argue with that.
Well, and I don't what's the point? If you call that living? Okay. Sorry, don't mean to derail us. Yeah, no. More seriously though, that is really interesting. We can put a pin in that because scribe.
Scribing.
Yes, scribe it to the scribe, please, scribe. I'm just gonna use scribe as many times incorrectly in sentence as I can, but I'm gonna mix it in with I'm gonna pepper it in with correct times. You'll never be quite sure. Like, I think you just said it too many times, but I don't really feel like listening that much to confirm. No, I've come too far to rewind. But yeah, I could agree with that. So, conversely, though, without her having done it directly, I think she could also easily set him up to die.
Okay.
Well, all right. So she could have him go to pick something up somewhere because she does still coordinate a lot of their buying and selling of like a lot of the stuff that they have. She keeps the books, and so another opportunity she could have though, instead of doing it herself, which that'd be cold. It's, I mean, plotting murder is still cold, but, also the murder part is cold. It's, stacking. Coldness. Coldness buff. But, I would say my only point there is that you could just set him up to die. Send him to go pick something up someplace that she knows from all the gossip that she hears in the little tower square there.
Sure.
You gotta think, she has survived 2 towers getting attacked.
Yeah.
She set up at the farm and didn't even have to, she was just like, oh, I don't even need this stuff. This wasn't even good stuff. I'm gonna go get better stuff.
She was pretty quick on the draw to take advantage of the situation set up right on the farm where all the Guardians apparently were going to show up unbeknownst to us. Right?
How did she know? We weren't the only one. It was a little bit of a convoy going over there, if we all recall. So I'll give it that much. But what are the fucking odds? Literally, there's bodies everywhere. If I remember that scene, where Eververse was before is getting bombarded by the Red Legion, and Zavala has to pop his everlasting bub while we defend wave after wave of their own men before we dip off.
More or less.
Yeah, the whole thing. And she's just already ooh yeah, no, that's weird. It I think she had to have escaped beforehand.
So she knew about the Cabal attacking? Is that what you're arguing?
Maybe. Well, I don't know. All right, so I think in the gossip ring, I think because everyone else is caught off guard. They're already right on top of us. In that cutscene. I don't think she's anywhere to be seen, if I recall correctly. Not that anyone's focused on her, but nowhere to be seen. You mean to tell me the day the fucking Cabal attack was the one fucking day she didn't have to be at the counter?
Fair.
Really?
So, what we've established here is Tess is clearly in cahoots with the Cabal, specifically Gaul, and and therefore she would know about the the attack in advance and set up Fenchurch to be killed in the ensuing chaos, so that she could firmly establish herself as the sole proprietor of Eververse, and go from there.
Well, I mean that's one way. Also, after he's, a little crazy from hallucinating, maybe she sends him, oh yeah, just go over here. This is where it's picked up. Oh yeah, I know the moon's a little scary, but you'll be fine. Yeah, no, there's nothing. Red Castle, yeah, that's a landmark. You're gonna want... Meet them there.
Oh my.
And she'd be way more convincing, too, because she would say it with an English accent.
It's true.
Which, as we all know, everyone from the UK and then everyone who can do an English accent, you're automatically more convincing than me specifically.
I imagine this is just like a Looney Tunes episode now, where she got a box labeled Acme, and planted some sort of bomb next to an artifact, and Fenchurch, just not being able to resist the artifact, goes right up to it, and actually while he kills Fenchurch this time.
I would accept that, but it could also be like a spy versus spy thing. Like, she's been trying to kill him this whole time. Every time he goes and get a dance, or every time he's going to do something, she's been trying to like set him up, and he's like keeps like missing him barely. Then again, conversely, what if he hated always having to go out and do stuff just because he's a guardian and can die, air quotes? What if he made a play on her and she had to defend herself?
It's possible. He could have be subject to the same motivations that she would. That being, he's jealous of having to do all the dangerous work, and her being safe in the tower all the time. Or maybe he just wants more money.
I think he just wants to hang out in the tower and design emotes and shaders.
Sure.
I think that's his true passion.
I also think he could probably do that if he wanted to. What do I know?
I don't know, Bagels. This is very crackpot. But that, I would say that's very much me turning it. That's me spinning that foil as thin as she'll go.
I think that's fair.
Spinning that foil, definitely turning it up to 11. How about you, Buckaroo? If you had to just squeeze the most you could out of this to make it work, what sort of mental gymnastics can you do to have Tess murdering Fenchurch the Guardian, the Warlock?
I would have to believe that Fenchurch did something either against their perceived common ancestry through the Awoken, to either bring shame to what they perceive as to be their family, or something similar to that, because they both believe they're of the same ancestry to some extent. So if Tess, who actually remembers that past, was somehow offended by an action that Fenchurch took, basically he killed somebody Awoken, something like that, that would result in her being so distraught that she would seek out to kill him. Sure, I could see that. Something like that happening.
I mean,
she just needs a motive. She does have the opportunity and probably the means if she can get to his ghost first. But yeah,
I guess. I mean, I don't, because does she really have that much of a connection to the Awoken? I know that's how they connected, but
I don't know. We don't have a whole lot of Tessa's backstory, to be honest. We just know that she's an Awoken in the Last City, pretty much when we meet her for the first time. Like I said, I'm stretching this pretty thin myself, so.
Yeah.
I think what we're going to struggle with here is to find any motive that's really going to drive Tess to the extent that she would actively try to kill.
What if it was by accident? What if she had like one of those bum engrams?
One of those ones from the taking campaign.
Yeah.
The exotic engrams that blow up.
Yeah.
Imagine if these got back to the tower. What if one did?
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. What if it was something stupid like that and they're just like both dead? And then she's like, oh no, oh no.
Roll spaghetti.
Oh no, oh god, oh god, oh god. Just complete accident.
Oh my god.
Complete accident. Or what if it's like something? Yeah. That's the other one. I guess murder has to be. Well, actually, because the theory is just did Tess kill Fenchurch? Murder needs a motive, but killing doesn't. Killing can be accidental.
It's true. It's very true.
Ooh, I like this. What if she like sat on his ghost and he just like fell off the tower? Like he was showing off to the other Guardians how you like swan dive off the tower, and she just like sat on Neville and he's just crushed now. Like, oh no, oh no.
How could these totally independent events could have coincidentally happened at the same exact moment?
Oh no. Oh no, Neville, oh no, oh no.
Oh my god.
That's right.
No.
That's right.
Yeah.
He was testing out a bungee jumping emote and his cord was too long.
Oh, Jesus.
And then she accidentally turned on the microwave while Neville was trying to fix it. Just put in her soup without looking.
Should have invested in that patent pending Eververse microwave shielding shell.
Right? I'm just saying. Accidental killing is still killing.
Yeah, that's fair. It's entirely fair.
Yeah.
I think I'm about ready to wrap this one up. I feel pretty strongly.
We've spun this foil as far as we can spin foil.
I think so.
How many foils could one spin? All right. Final score, Monsignor.
I'm going to give it about a 3.14 bright engrams. There's a little bit of a hint of plausibility there, but there's not a whole lot to tie together the concept that Tess would actively kill Fenchurch. I think it's more likely that Fenchurch is just off having adventures for the hidden under the direction of Ikora, and therefore that's why we haven't heard from him, because he's hidden. Literally, we're not supposed to hear anything about them because their activities are supposed to be covert and therefore off the record for the most part. And we happen to get our hands on one little bit of stolen intelligence. But
I like it. I'm gonna give it 1990 Roger Wilco's a la Space Quest, because that's how ridiculous it would probably have to be in the most realistic fashion for me. Yeah. If she space janitored her way like to accidentally murdering Fenchurch, I'm actually here for it. I think that might be the most plausible
plausible way that Fenchurch dies at the hands of Tess.
Yeah. Like Fenchurch and Neville were both hanging out at that piece of the tower that got exploded. Doing something for her. Could you please get that thing in the back? Like, okay, like, come on, Neville, like, help me. I need some light back here. And then kerplam! Just won't even let him look at the the Almighty.
Jeez.
I would. All right. Yeah, I think with that, for me, shout-outs this week, we got the holidays here in the U.S. I think we're already in the midst of it, actually. Holiday season's already began. So yeah, happy holidays to everyone celebrating, soon to be celebrating. Happy New Year to everyone. Preemptively, if you don't get a chance to listen to us before then, I think we're planning to stay on task for you next week. But just in case. Happy holidays, and stay safe. I know a lot of people, if you're like me, your traveling plans got canceled this year, but it's in the end you're doing the right thing because you're trying to keep the people you care about as safe as they can be. So good on you. Stay safe, and we'll see you next time. Bagels, you got any shoutouts?
Yeah, I want to go on a little bit of a I guess tangent for myself. Typically, I try to keep these a little bit more general, but big shout out to the Iowa State Cyclones because they're on their way to the Big 12 championship game, and hopefully by the time this releases, they won that and have their first ever Big 12 championship title. So I'm gonna celebrate if that happens personally. But
right.
Yeah. I'm pretty excited, and I'm hoping the game goes really well. Even if they don't win, I'm pretty excited. So,
for those of you who don't know, Bagels is from Iowa.
I am indeed.
Yeah, Bagels. I hear Iowa's flat. Like, if you open your door, can you just see all the way to the state line?
It's almost true.
It's just so flat.
It's pretty flat.
You can just see.
It's not quite as flat as Nebraska. At least the eastern portion of Nebraska.
Yeah, Nebraska. I've seen like film of from like some movies that like tangentially like took place out there, and it's just so like I keep thinking it's camera tricks. They're like, no, it's actually that flat. It's like, holy shit. Really, I'm from a hilly area, so like for people who don't know, like northern Virginia into Washington, even it's a hilly place. Like we're not the flattest area of the country, so it's
saying is your hill people.
No, we're actually on a swamp. We're swamp people here in the city. Yeah, DC's over a dredged swamp. It's really funny. So the Capitol building, the part of it that faces the National Mall is actually the back of it. When it was built, there was no way to develop the city over the marshlands like that. So they thought the city was going to expand in the other direction because that was the more solid ground. Sure. And then obviously things changed, but yeah, so that's a fun fact.
Fair enough.
Mm-hmm. So yeah, well, Bagels, good luck to your team. Go Squad. I hope you win at sport. No, I'm familiar with basketball. And so yeah, good luck. And yeah, everyone else, like we say, stay safe. We'll catch you guys next time. Bye.
Bye. That's the end of this week's topic, but be sure to check out our past and future episodes on Spotify, iTunes, and Podbean. If you have any questions about this week's topic, want to discuss Destiny lore with us, or if you just feel like reaching out to us, you can find us on Twitter at Spinfoil Theory, or you can email us via spinfoiltheory@gmail.com. Thanks for listening.
The Lore Network.